Hi, my name is Brooklyn Tanner, and today I'm going to talk about why being a distracted driver is a bad idea. Every day in the United States, approximately 9 people are killed due to a distracted driver. We need to raise awareness about the dangers of distracted driving and to help prevent it from occurring throughout the country. January 13th, 2017, I was driving home to surprise my sister at her last cheer basketball game. And I was about 20 minutes away from home when a semi driver was being distracted and decided to change lanes. He actually ended up right on top of my car. Here's some pictures. There's my car. That's where the semi went through my car. Here's me in the emergency room. And there's me and my mom. The driver actually turned out to be distracted from being on his cell phone. He changed lanes without looking and decided to hurry and make that abrupt decision and actually went on top of the car. The landing gear of the truck came through my car and hit me in the head, so I now have headaches all the time because I had a very serious concussion. I broke my sternum, which that's not a fun one because you use your sternum to do everything, and I also tore my C7 vertebrae. So distracted driving can definitely change your life. It's changed mine. It was very scary. I still have a lot of dreams about it, and it's not fun, but that could have been prevented if this driver would have not been distracted and would have been paying attention. And yeah, so that's just crazy that your whole life can change because someone was on their cell phone. Now, and it's not over, I'm still dealing with it every day. He will not claim liability for it, and so we're actually having to do a lawsuit, and all the medical bills have not been paid for, so it's very stressful. But this all could have been prevented, like I said. Accidents caused by distracted drivers are increasing every year. More than 3,000 lives were taken last year due to distracted drivers. That's crazy. That number doesn't even include the amount of people that were injured. We need to take a stand and educate all drivers about the importance of not being distracted. No life should be taken or person are affected for the rest of their life because a driver happened to not be paying attention when he was driving. I think this topic is important because there are several consequences when it comes to distracted driving. I don't think people realize it until it happens to them or someone close to them. You are taking your eyes off the road for several seconds. I found a study that said that if you take your eyes off the road for 5 seconds, you're going to be driving them out of a football field. That is crazy. That's a lot of driving without paying attention. Luckily, it's the law now. In a lot of states, they have banned it. And you're not only putting yourself at risk, but you're also putting everybody else on the road at risk. So you need to think about other people. So I looked up what distracted driving meant. It meant any activity that takes your eyes off the road, hands off the wheel, or your mind off driving counts as distracted driving. So eyes off the road, some examples of this could be looking at roadside billboards, checking yourself in the mirror, or looking at crash scenes. I know when people see crash scenes, they slow down, and that could cause you not to be paying attention and hurt someone. Hands off the wheel could be personal grooming. That's crazy to me that people would be grooming, but I found a study that said that 25% of the population has done their hair, done their makeup, shaved. That is crazy while they've been driving. Looking at maps, texting while driving is another one, eating or drinking, changing CDs, or using handheld phones for any activity. So if you're taking your hands off the wheel, most likely you're being distracted and you're not paying attention fully to the road, which could potentially cause a car accident. So the risks of distracted driving are potentially you could injure a person, and when you injure a person, there's a lot that comes with that. You could remember that for the rest of your life, and you could be paying for that for the rest of life. You could hurt someone seriously, or worse, you could kill them. So some shocking statistics that I found in 2015, 3,477 people were killed in a crash involving a distracted driver. That's almost 4,000 people that were killed due to someone just not paying attention. And then in 2015, 391,000 people were injured in motor vehicle crashes involving a distracted driver. I mean, seriously, that's almost 400,000 people are hurt because someone wasn't paying attention, and it's scary to think that I fall into that statistic of being hurt by someone who wasn't paying attention. Who is at risk most for being a distracted driver? It said that young teens and adults are usually at risk because they just started driving. They're not really aware of the problems that could happen if they're distracted. Drivers under the age of 20 actually have the highest proportion of distraction-related fatal crashes. So I think it's important that we educate teenagers when they are in driver's ed about the dangers of distracted driving and make sure that they're aware of the consequences that could come with it. CDC did a study where they asked students if they had sent a text or an email while driving, and 42% of the high school students who drove in the last 30 days admitted that they sent an email or a text while driving. And CDC also asked them like a few more questions, and they actually said that when they were sending that text, they were actually less likely to be wearing a seatbelt as well. And that's really dangerous because if you get in a car accident, you need to have that seatbelt on. So why should we stop? Why should we stop being distracted drivers? Luckily, it's probably illegal. Most states have started to ban texting and driving or being distracted driving. If a cop sees it, he will pull you over and he will give you a ticket, and it could be up to a couple $100s. So think about that the next time you go to pick up your phone or go to look away. It's important to consider your passengers and the other people on the road. It's not just you, it's everybody else on the road. There are several options that you can choose rather to become a distracted driver. You could pull over and on the other side of the road and use your phone or do whatever you needed to do. There's also a lot of handheld devices now for your car, Bluetooth. You can call without even using your hands, and you can talk. Luckily, a lot of the newer cars have those. Distracted driving is just a bad idea because there are several people that you could seriously injure, including yourself. Many families have lost a family member because of distracted driver who was being careless and took their eyes off the road. My car accident could have been a lot worse than it was, but luckily it wasn't. I have suffered a few injuries that is likely that I will have for the rest of my life. When the semi came on top of my car, like I said, the landing gear came through, and that was the scariest part because I still remember it to this day. I just really wish the driver would have been paying attention. We need to take the opportunity to raise awareness of the dangers of distracted driving and what can happen if you take your eyes off the road. Let's take a stand and not drive distracted. If we are able to reduce the number of distracted drivers, we could potentially save 9 or more lives a day. When you are driving, it is important to remember all of those around you in motor vehicles. Also remember yourself, and your life could potentially be altered for the rest of your life. Thanks.